The following episode describes acts of violence and murder. Listener discretion is advised. It's Sunday morning, July 29th, 2018, at around 2:15 a.m. A fight involving several people has broken out in front of a three-decker home on Sturgis Street, a small side street running between Lincoln Street and Worcester's Green Hill Park. Witnesses told police a man came running from the side of the Sturgis Street home and rapidly fired several gunshots, striking two people, one a 28-year-old man and the other 23-year-old Jovannexen Jampy Rivera. The shooter fled the scene, leaving Jampy and the other man laying on the sidewalk, each suffering serious gunshot wounds. A family member put Jampy in a car and drove him to a nearby hospital. The other man was taken by ambulance after Worcester police arrived. Minutes later, Jampy would be pronounced dead. It's been nearly 6 years, and his case remains unsolved. Jampy Rivera's death was the second of 5 reported homicides in Worcester in 2018, and one of 2 unsolved murders from that year. We explored the first homicide of 2018 and the other unsolved shooting death, the Memorial Day weekend murder of 16-year-old Sidney Crow, during episode 2 of this season. Like Sidney Crow, Jampy Rivera's unsolved murder isn't among the Worcester Police Department's unresolved cases list. Welcome back to Unsolved Worcester. I'm your host, Dan Yeager. Unsolved Worcester takes a deep dive every Tuesday into the unsolved murders and missing persons cases under investigation by the Worcester Police Department's Detective Unit, the Worcester County District Attorney's Office, and the Massachusetts State Police. Be sure to visit Unsolved Worcester on Facebook and Instagram, and listen to all episodes for free at unsolvedworcester.com and on your favorite podcast streaming platforms. Check out the video for this episode with exclusive aerial views and more on the Unsolved Worcester YouTube page. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Jampy Rivera was born in Puerto Rico and moved to Worcester with his family in 1997 when he was 2 years old. Jampy graduated from Worcester South High School in 2013 and later attended Rob Roy Academy to become a barber. At the time of his death, Jampy was living with his mother, girlfriend, and his young daughter in an apartment on Main Street. Family and friends described Jampy as friendly, happy, humble, a hard worker, and a good father. Jampy loved baseball and working on cars. He owned a Honda CR-V, which he had customized himself. Jampy entered the SUV and car shows and had won several awards for the vehicle's style and performance. According to reports, Jampy could often be seen with a friend working on the cars outside of the three-decker on Sturgis Street, where he was shot and killed during the early morning hours of July 29th, 2018. The 28-year-old man Jampy was with that night survived his gunshot wounds. When he died, Jampy left behind his daughter, his girlfriend, his mother and father, 3 brothers, 3 nieces and nephew, his paternal grandparents, his maternal grandmother, aunts, uncles, and friends. A GoFundMe campaign was started to help Jampy's family raise money to cover funeral expenses. The campaign raised around $2,500 and received donations from nearly 50 people. A post on the page describes Jampy as a son, a brother, husband, and father to a beautiful baby girl, whom was the light of his eyes. He was taken away from us too soon. His legacy will live through our memories. Jampy is buried in Añasco, Puerto Rico. Coming up, we have more details on Jampy Rivera's death, and tragedy befalls Jampy's family again a year later. Jampy Rivera and his friends were out at a Worcester club on Saturday night, July 28th, 2018. After the club closed, the party moved to his friend's apartment in the three-decker on Sturgis Street. According to sources, a fight had started outside of the three-decker home involving some of the people at the party and others that weren't. At the height of the brawl, a male suspect stepped out from the side of the three-decker and sprayed several gunshots in the direction of a group of people standing on the sidewalk in front. Bullets blasted out windows of 3 parked cars in the area. Jampy Rivera and another man were the only 2 people shot. The suspect ran away from the scene and in the commotion was never identified by neighbors. One of Jampy's brothers was at the scene when the shots were fired. He helped Jampy into his car and drove him to a nearby hospital. When police arrived, they found a large group of people standing in Sturgis Street and a 28-year-old man laying on the sidewalk. The man was taken to the hospital by ambulance with serious injuries. He would be hospitalized for several days, but would ultimately survive. Jampy didn't make it. A bullet had struck a major organ. His family got to the hospital in time, and they were there with him when he died. In the hours following the double shooting, Worcester police canvassed the Lincoln Street neighborhood, interviewed witnesses, and processed evidence from the crime scene. But no arrests were made. No one came forward to name the shooter. Jampy's family said the shooting couldn't have been directed at him or the other man who was shot. They said Jampy was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The next day, a makeshift memorial for Jampy with flowers, balloons, and signs was placed on a utility pole just outside of 14 Sturgis Street. While Jampy's family would only begin to grieve their terrible loss, tragedy would strike them again soon. "15 months after Jampy Rivera was shot and killed in Worcester, Jampy's younger brother, Yit Rivera, was killed during a robbery attempt in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It was around 1 a.m. on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019, when Yit Rivera was standing outside of Chicago Sports Bar and Grill and Club Gravity when he was approached by 27-year-old Jamel Cruz and 26-year-old Walter Martinez. Cruz snatched the chain off Yit's neck, and Martinez pointed a gun at Yit and shot him in the chest. A 24-year-old man helped both men flee the scene. Yit died at St. Luke's Hospital in Fountain Hill, Pennsylvania. Cruz and Martinez are currently serving time in state prison in the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. Yit is buried next to his brother Jampy in Puerto Rico. Thank you for listening. I'm Dan Yeager. Don't miss another episode. Click the notification button to get alerts when new episodes of Unsolved Worcester drop. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please consider giving us a 5-star rating or clicking the like button on your YouTube videos. Anyone with information on the murder of Jampy Rivera are asked to contact the Worcester Police Detective Bureau at 508-799-8651 or send an anonymous text to 274-637. Write TIP-WPD plus your message or send an anonymous web-based message at worcesterma.gov/police. Come back next time for Episode 5 of Unsolved Worcester Season 7 and the unsolved double homicide of Maureen and Jennifer Moynihan in Rutland in 1973. Be sure to catch up on all previous episodes at unsolvedworcester.com. Special thanks to the Worcester Public Library, the Worcester Police Department, the City of Worcester, and our sponsors for making this possible. Season 7 of Unsolved Worcester wouldn't be possible without the generous contributions of our fundraising campaign donors, especially Marcia, Jason, and Nicole. Information on Jampy's case was gathered from multiple resources, including the Worcester Telegram and Gazette, Mass Live, Patch.com, Boston 25 News, and more. The Unsolved Worcester podcast music is provided by Tom Lebelzik of the Worcester Jazz Collective. This episode is written and produced by Pat Sargent. Drone footage provided by Ron Scott at Chasing Daylight Studio. Videography and editing by Colin Turner. This program is supported in part by a grant from the Worcester Arts Council and the National Endowment for the Arts. To find out more about how National Endowment for the Arts grants impact individuals and communities, visit www.arts.gov.